Howdy folks, Ranger Sly here, and I'm doing a big haul video. I'll probably do it in two parts. This one will be all the DC comics I got during since the lockdown, so since last March. Mostly in the last few months, actually. Mostly bought on eBay, because stores have been closed around here for most of the time since March. So yeah, let's start with the DC. First up is All-Star Western number 92, and after that I'll show you 93. I bought both of these at the same time. I got a good deal on them. All-Star Western both have Gil Kane covers, and Gil Kane does also a one of the feature, because this is an anthology title. So Gil Kane does the Johnny Thunder feature, and not the Trigger Twins you see on the cover here. Those were done by Carmine Infantino. So this is 92, and I also got, sorry about that, 93. 93 used to be a slab book because the previous owner left the CGC tag, so this was quoted as a 5.5. Yeah, I don't have slab books in my collection. I don't want them. I want to be able to read the books. Next up, the Atom and Hawkman number 42 from April 1969. I'm only missing 3 issues before I complete this run. The last 3 issues of Atom and Hawkman, I've completed all the Atom series, and after number 39, I think, the Atom series became Atom and Hawkman, because Hawkman's series got cancelled, I think, or fusion into Atom. Nice Joe Kubert covers, and the story inside is by Denis O'Neill, and the art is by Dick Dillon, an artist I usually don't like very much, but with the inks by Sid Green, it looks very, very nice. So yeah, only 3 issues down. Next up, it's Brave and the Bold number 41, and this was the last issue I was missing to collect all the Cave Carson adventures from Brave and the Bold, and also from Showcase. So I'm gonna probably do a video about Cave Carson in the near future. This might be the best story I've read yet from this series. I haven't read the Showcase issues yet, but from the Brave and the Bold, this was the best issue. Very good story and excellent art by the legend Mort Miskin. Mort Miskin was a big influence on both Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. So, and next up is a short run of Detective Comics. You'll be surprised because this is more modern than what I usually buy. But yeah, I bought this run mostly because it has a backup story by Ed Brubaker and Darwin Cook, one of my favorite writer and my favorite artist. And the backup story was used to reintroduce Catwoman. I guess she was supposed to be dead at this point, so it was a backup story to bring back Catwoman and to launch her in her own series that would begin with also Darwin Cook on the art. So that's why I bought this Detective Comics run. So this is 758. The backup story about Catwoman hasn't started yet, but it's the first part of the main story that goes with the next issue. This one here with the Mad Hatter, and this is the issue where the trail of the Catwoman starts by Brubaker. So this is number 759 from August 2001. This is 760. And I love the beautiful covers on Detective Comics. I also like the design of the trade dress at that time. Beautiful cover by Dave Johnson. And the main story was written by Greg Rucka. It wasn't bad, but as I said, the main reason was to get the Catwoman story. So this is 761. Nice cover. And finally 762. And the story was finished with that. This one had an art on the Batman story by Rick Burkett. guy I like also. Next up, back in the past to the Bronze Age, the Mighty Isis. This is from November 1976. It's, as you see here in the corner, a DC TV Comics. This was a line at the time at DC. I think Shazam might have been on that line for a while. I know I have the Welcome Back Kotter TV series that DC did a 10-issue run, I think. I was a fan of the ISIS TV show back in the days as a teenager. This first issue was written by Denny O'Neil, and the cover is by Kurt Schaffenberger, who did mostly Lois Lane for DC. And the art inside is by Rick Estrada, an artist I don't really like, but the ink is by Wally Wood, who does an excellent job of making it look very, very good. Next up, I've managed to nail my second issue of Rex the Wonder Dog, The Adventures of Rex the Wonder Dog number 32. This is from April 1957. Nice Gil Kane cover, and also art on 2 stories inside, plus the backup story is Detective Chimp by Carmine Infantino. I love Detective Chimp, so very nice, very happy about this. Okay, next up is a more modern comic. I don't usually buy this series, but I don't know, I stumbled upon it. By the way, this is a boring name for a series. Superman Batman. That's it. This is Superman Batman number 75 from October 2010. Why not call it just War's Finest? At least it has some legacy value to it. Anyway, it has a cool Legion of Superhero stories written by Paul Levitz and drawn by Jerry Ordway. And the ink, or I think the colorist on Jerry Ordway's art inside made it look like gray tone. Very, very nice looking art inside. And at the back of the issue, there's a series of nice 2 pages backup done by many people. I really like the one by Adam Hughes and one by Duncan Rouleau about Ace the Bat Hound and Crypto the Dog. So yeah. Next up is a series of unexpected issues from the Bronze Age. By the way, this is my favorite period of the Bronze Age, when they had those only 25 cents bigger and better. They were either 48 or 52 pages depending on the time. So this one has a nice cover by Nick Cardy, who did most of the covers I'm going to show you. This is from August 1971. Also inside, this is an anthology, of course, and there's new stories and reprints, and one of the reprints is a very nice Alex Toth book. Next one is number, by the way, the previous one was 126, this is 127. So this is from September 1971, again Nick Cardy cover, maybe the most beautiful. Inside there's new stories by George Tosca and Jim Aparo, both very reliable veterans of the comic book art, and reprints by Jack Kirby and another Alex Toth reprint. I'm a huge Alex Toth fan. Next up is number 128, again a Nick Cardy cover from October 1971. There's a new story by Bernie Wrightson inside, and there's a reprint by Doug Wildey, who was the creator of Johnny Quest and a longtime artist at Marvel during the Atlas era. By the way, all these unexpected giants I all bought in the same lot, and I got a real good deal on them. This is number 132 from February 1972. Another great Nick Cardy cover. New art by George Tosca and Jim Aparo again. So cool cover. I like that logo also. I'm sorry, the quality of the bags they're stored in is very old, so I'm gonna put them in fresh bag as soon as I finish filming this. Number 133 of The Unexpected. From March 1972. The cover is not by Nick Cardy this time. It's by Jack Sparling, and this must have been the late period of the gray tone covers, because you can see the gray tone, especially on the monuments. But gray tones were more a 50s and 60s thing, so that's nice to see it. No Cardy on the cover, but there's a Nick Cardy reprint inside. And the last of the Unexpected Giants is a number 134. This is from April 1972. Nick Cardy is back on the cover, and there's a reprint by Curt Swan from the 1950s inside. I love Curt Swan, and I love his early stuff that we don't see enough. Last two books of the DC run, the DCO, is this one, Warlord number 48. I'm not collecting Warlord really, although a fellow YouTuber called the Comic Collector has been showing a lot of Warlord issues recently, and I'm getting an itch to trying to find them, especially the Mike Grell written and drawn issues, which is about the first 40 or 50 issues of Warlord, I think. This one was a very good story by an art by Mike Grell called Dragon of Ice. I'm gonna reveal a small spoiler. The Dragon of Ice is actually a Viking Drakkar that some foolish people think is a real ice dragon, but it's a Viking Drakkar that was frozen. Very cool story, and it's also the first appearance of the Return of Claw as a bonus backup. And also there's an extra 16-page preview, actually a new story introducing Arak, the son of Thunder. So that was a pretty cool issue. And last one of the DC All is World's Finest number 180. I'm not collecting really World's Finest, only some issues I find interesting. This one is from November 1968. It has a Neil Adams cover. These are not the reason why I bought the book. The reason is inside there's a reprint of Detective Comics number 215 from 1955 with the Batman of all nations. So there's a classic story with the Batman from England, from South America, from France, from Italy, and from Australia. The one from Australia is called Ranger. The one from England is called the Knight. He has also a sidekick called the Squire, and so on. The one from France is called the Musketeer. The one from South America is called the Gaucho, and the one from Italy is called the Legionary, which is a weird name. I would have thought Legionnaire would be a better name. Anyway, and also I want to get the issue that comes before 180, so World's Finest number 179, which is a 80-page giant. And bizarrely, it has the sequel to the Batman of All Nations reprint. It's called Club of Heroes, and it's from 1957 with the art by Dick Sprang. So yeah, that's a weird reprint schedule from DC. They actually reprinted in 179 the sequel, and then in 180 they reprinted the first original story about the Batman of All Nations. Well, that's it for this video. Next time we'll take a look at comic books by Marvel, Charlton, Dell, and other companies. I want to shout out and dedicate this episode to a fellow member of the comic book community here on YouTube who produces great content. He's the Comic Collector, not to be confused with the Classic Comic Collector. Both are highly recommended channel, but since this episode was all about DC comic books and that the Comic Collector collect mostly DC comics, so this one goes to him. Like I said earlier, the Comic Book Collector is working on building a set of DC Warlord and has been showing a lot of them on his channel lately. And the hoarder in me is starting to get an itch. Also, he did a 12 video series where he explored each individual issues of the 1985 DC Challenge Maxi series. That 12-issue maxi series was a very interesting experiment in comic book storytelling, and I just love the short reviews the comic collector made of each issue. Links to both the comic collector's channel and his first episode of his DC Challenge series down in the description below. And that's it. Until we meet again, happy trails everyone.